Hey everyone, it's film night and TV. There's a TV series, it's an old one, and I used to watch it years ago. American, and it's called Dark Skies, and it was actually pulled. It was pulled because I used to watch it every week, and then all of a sudden it was pulled, and it was pulled because they were true stories, and they didn't like that. He didn't like it, so it was pulled. And it's called, you get it on YouTube. You got to look for it, or just type it in. Dark Skies, it's called. It's really good. And I watched a few episodes again, a couple of weeks ago, actually. And it's the same. It's good. It really is. Right to the point. But once you start getting to the point, you do get pulled, unfortunately. That was it. Dark Skies, that's a series. Polo. Hey, Polo. Hi, Frank. Hope you're well. Saw you on the Fozzie YouTube channel. Spoke with clarity and truth. I appreciate that. I really do, because, look, when I was having my football shows, that's all I tried to speak, the truth. I don't speculate. I do not speculate. And you get those journals, as you know, Polo, who was coming out and saying that the Dutchman was staying, and they're trying to backtrack. But I said what they'll do, they'll come out and say, well, we were told that. But I was told 2 weeks before, and I told you 2 weeks before that he was going. He was going. And I had a lad who lives in Gibraltar, actually, and he came on, and he said, Frankie's going tomorrow. But I thought, I was told that it was the 1st of June, and I kept telling people, wait till June. Wait till June. But they just got rid of him a couple of days before June, in my birthday month. So I was made up with that when he went anyway. But as I said, it's a new dawn. It's getting out there now, Polo, with this Areola fella. But the only caveat with me is that he's been chosen again by Hughes. Don't forget it was Hughes who brought the unknown Dutchman in, and he messed everything up. Him, Hughes himself, and Edwards, when they broke up, a great winning side, championship side, and they just broke it up, smashed it up. We would have won the league again if we wouldn't have broke it up. And that's all I'm saying on the matter. You've heard me saying that before. But now they try to do a different legacy from the Klopp man. They try to do a different, you're going to get a different, you're going to be up there. He was told, the Dutchman. Nah, sorry, mate. You ain't going to be up there. In fact, you destroyed the team we had, broke it up. TW, I'd say. Even in Frank and chat. Evening tea. Like, share, hype, and subscribe. Like, share, hype, and subscribe. That's what I just can't believe. Liverpool football. I know this is film night, and I will be talking about films. I've got good news and bad news, to be honest, because remember I showed the Titanic? Well, we've been trying to. Remember when I said I'm going to show something, and I can't even tell you what it is. And we've been warned that we can't show this footage because it's coming out in a trial, a retrial actually. And it's unbelievable footage. And there's a coroner involved. It's brilliant. And unfortunately, I can't show it, so I can't talk about it tomorrow night. So we're all you on there now. So I can only see 19. We're all you on there tomorrow night. What do you want me to talk about tomorrow night? Just let me know, and I'll talk about it. Even football. I like that hype. Subscribe. Brilliant. Hello, Frank. Can't chat, says Edward. Oh, do you mean and chat? Can't chat. Why? Why? Toscana. Well, I say to Franco and Co, looking forward to filming. Thank you. I've got a great film for you to watch. If you can get it, like. Remember when I said about a film and half of it is filmed in Liverpool? I'm going to tell you what it is. And it's good. It really is a good film. And Dennis, hiya Dennis. God blimey, I'm made up that you got home. Guess who? Finally got to meet our legendary host a week ago. Today, yeah, it was. Over the jet lag, I'm back with the alligators. Thanks to all that came to see us. Yeah, Dennis and the Incurables plays at both caverns, both cavern venues, the pub and the club. It was great. Great seeing you, Dennis. It really was funny. Funny. Yeah, big up, Dennis. Yeah, look at that. It was a great visit, and he's talking to Edwards. It was a great visit, inverted commas, back home. Because he just called Liverpool his second home, and a few other American people as well. There's a Russian girl who I know. She's a lovely, lovely girl, big mad Beatle fan. And she's got one of these strange, unpronounceable Russian names. And she calls herself Jane Beatles. Jane Beatles. And she's lovely. She speaks several languages and she goes around. She's been to Olympic Games, World Cup games, everything she's been to as an international interpreter. And unfortunately, with the ban on Russia, she can't go anywhere, which is absolutely horrendous. To ban these great people, the likes of the Bolshoi Ballet, banned. And my little friend, Jane, banned. Loves Liverpool. Calls it a second home, just like Dennis. That's good that you had a good time, Dennis, says Edward. And Dennis says, ironically, I was just out of the LFC shop in Liverpool once snagging new shirt for me. The lads, when the news broke, great. You know that the news about the other fella, the Dutchman. I'll never mention that man's name again. To me, he's just a Dutchman, a failed Dutchman. And Edward says, I'm not liking the 2-year contract. What do you think, Frank? I think it's disgusting. And that's the big caveat for me. See, I honestly, I would have had Bob Hope as our manager. Honestly, rather than the Dutchman. Anyone. I know Bob's dead, like we could have dug him up. But the point is with me, is that anyone. And when Areola, was appointed, and he's being pronounced now, around this time now, confirmed Liverpool manager, coach, and that's the big caveat, because he's coming in as a coach, not as a manager. And you know what that means, don't you? It means that it'll be the same old. It'll be used buying players and Edwards and running the club, not Areola. Not Areola. And there's talk about this Diamandi. What did he come out with the other day and say? He said that he was a Liverpool supporter, didn't he? Oh, my dad's a Liverpool supporter. Oh, great. Then all of a sudden, when PSG were interested in him, he said, I've always wanted, big lie, obviously, a massive lie. I've always wanted to play for PSG. PSG's only come up here now recently, the last few years. It's not like Barcelona or Real Madrid or even us, Liverpool. And he's from I've always wanted, and I thought, oh, piss off, don't need you, fella. So if they prefer other clubs, let them go to the other clubs. But most probably PSG haven't put an offer in. So, yeah, I'm being honest with this contract. Is he trusted? First and foremost. Is he going to end up like, I'm not being horrible here, Slot? Mentions his fucking name. Is he going to end up like him? Because, the Dutchman didn't have any say in how to run the team. It was using the other fella to get rid of the tactics and the system of Klopp. And then he brought his own system in when he knew that we were safe and we were going to go on to win the league. Then he changed to his own style in March 2025. Some say February. And then we went down the pan. Henceforth. So are we going to have a repeat of this? Ali, our Romanian friend. Good evening, ragazzi. Good evening, lads. That's what he's saying. Buonasera, ragazzi. Steamer my old mate. Hey, Frank and chat. How you stay? Tomorrow night, any subject, says the T. Okay. See, I'll tell you what I'll do. I've got to talk about what's going on. I have to. I'm not being funny. In Ukraine, I have to. Ukraine, Russia, the involvement of Elon Musk with a Starlink. I've just got to talk about these things. I've got to talk also about this little Novak lad. I think it's absolutely horrendous. And there's no accountability yet for allowing a young lad to die in the street being handcuffed, not believing what the lad said. When he said, I've been stabbed, he said, I don't think so, mate. The cop said. So I'll be talking about that as well, if you don't mind. And I'll do an hour on football, I think. And Steve says, something I would like you to talk about. The Lucy, brilliant. That's brilliant, that. That's absolutely the Lusitania. Deliberately sung. Allowed to be sung by Churchill. That's brilliant, that, Steve. And it's not a conspiracy theory. You know, it was being called a conspiracy theory until the truth really came out. Because of Churchill wanting the Americans to, you know, they said, oh, when Americans are on board. And he allowed the Lusitania to go into the danger waters where U-boats were, undersea booting. And he was sailing in, and he knew that it would be sunk. But he thought, with Americans being on it, civilians, the Americans would declare war. He didn't. Unnecessary lives were lost through that man. And people call him one of the greatest men of all time. He wasn't. He wasn't. To me, he wasn't. I've studied him, what he got up to. Churchill. Horrible man. And what, you know, it's proved in it. After the Second World War, he was expecting, you know, like with his big fat drunken cigar in, with his victory sign, to be landslided in. He was landslided out because the ordinary soldier coming back from war realised what kind of an oaf he was. Kicked out. Talk about him as well. Edwards, I went to the pictures to watch Mortal Kombat. Some good fighting scenes. Oh, hey, Edward. Are you into all that? What are you like? Mortal Kombat. I love it. Early day. Tuscany. Why not have an open night tomorrow night? There's so much happening. Yeah, okay. Great shout. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Open night tomorrow. Interact with you all. Call me for everything. But call me for everything. Nice things. I don't think I can stand being slagged up. And Christopher, hi Frank and everyone, like and subscribe. Thank you, Christopher. No one does. I know, you know, there's good people out there who look in, but they don't subscribe, unfortunately. And it's just the way it is, isn't it? I'm stuck on a certain number. And I have been for yonks. And Cedric, the fella who's acted with Betty Davis and George Brent and Joan Blondell. Cedric won't know who they are. Big up legends. There's Cedric. And Chat. Cat. Are you cat? I have a question for you. How good was brilliant? Stevie McMahon. Brilliant. That's what we need in the team today. Cat. Why doesn't he get... We recognise him. I do. Our chatters do. Cat. Stevie Mac. I know his family, actually. Believe it or not. Big Blue. Big Blue. But when it's the first derby game he plays in for us, after he came from Aston Villa, he says, I get stuck in, because that's the way, that was his football. That was his football. And I always remember when we played Wimbledon. Now, it was there, Wembley Cup final, got beat. I was told later, known fact, in the tunnel coming out, that Vinnie Jones, that arsehole, he was poking fun at Stevie Mac. It's the last thing he'd done, I believe, afterwards. So Cat, you're right. And there's another player who hardly gets mentions as well. And believe it or not, that's the great. Look, you get players who they always talk about modern day players, really, modern day, and then when they go back to the Stevie McManaman era, Stevie McMahon era, you get them saying about Souness and Dalglish and all these players, and they just seem to be like left out. It's like Ray Kennedy. Ray Kennedy was one of our great midfielders. And the best midfielder, in my opinion, for carrying the ball and going forwards and scoring some terrific goals, hardly ever gets mentioned. And that's Terry McDermott. So there's things like that, Cat. But we have spoken about them, honestly. So when I'm doing a football thing, just tune in and come out with your comments. Lovely Linda. Oh, even if Frank and everyone's still in hospital. Oh, sorry to hear that, Lynn. Sorry to you'll be out soon, knowing you're a fighter, you're a trooper. And Barry says, even if Frank and everyone, guess where I'm going to next week? Go away. The dentist. Infected gums, not good. Maybe lose a tooth. The tooth. The whole tooth. And nothing but the tooth, eh? Can you bring him down to me? Saying that I can't move. Tell him I've got my tooth here ready to be put back. And I just say, ragazzi. I like that. Means lads, the boys, the box of toys, in Italian. Our Bella, I tell you, and our Toscana, I tell you. Buonasera, Franco, and chat. Buonasera, lovely Bella. Lol. Christopher. Frank, you're kidding me? No. Frank Scottish Bear was on Fozzie Channel yesterday. And today, go away. He wished you and everyone well and said he watches but is unable to post due to his. Oh no. His sister typed out the message. Oh no, man. Oh. See, look, the thing is, you see, believe this. I with Fozzie, right, I don't come in here in my studio. I have to use my phone because he doesn't know how to link me. And with Jason, because he does afternoons and like lunch times. And with that, Jason can't get me on. Honestly, I can't interrupt him. He's working. He's in ducks and everything, that fella, doing his all the IT work for lawyers and God knows else. God knows who else. So I can't just phone him out. Listen, so I have to use my phone. And I can't see any comments. Just can't see them. I'm lucky enough to see these because the comments on my phone are tiny. There's no way, even if I wore my reading glasses, there's no way. Even if they put it in big print. Oh. I wish I could have said, listen, please, if you see him again, and I'm not, please, send him my best wishes. Please do it. And tell him I'm made up, and tell him that we've always asked about him, by the way. The Scottish Bear and the Red Bird. We do think about them. Thank you for that. Letting me know. Brilliant. And Barry Aldridge, I have an optimism with Areola than the Dutch cheese. Got to have faith. Yeah, we've got faith. Of course we've got faith. The Dutch cheese. I'm just glad you never mentioned his name. But yes, the Dutch cheese, I'd have to call them the Swiss cheese with all the holes in. So that's what he was like, wasn't he? Oh, little Donny. Hey, Donny. Good evening, lovely chat, family, and lovely Frank. I've just got home. What's tonight? Well, it's family night. It's film night, Donna. It's film night. I'll be telling you about a film that you must watch. Because someone asked me, I think it was, a couple asked me, including Johan, can you talk about films that was actually filmed in Liverpool? And I said, well, there's one there, a new film that was filmed in Liverpool. I'll tell you about it in a moment. And it's brilliant. It's an American film. And honestly, it's good. It really is good. And Lauren, where have you been? Hi, Frankie. Hi, Bella. Where have you been? Thought you fell out with me. Good to see you, Lauren. Great to see you. And the porter, didn't they order the Lusitania to blow down and stop zigzag? Yeah. Yes. Yes. because ships were zigzagging, to avoid the torpedoes. And they were told, don't zigzag. From the first Sea Lord. One guess who the first Sea Lords was? Poet. So it wasn't easy at all. Any ship that doesn't zigzag is an easy target. Good shout, that, Polo. Poet, I'm sorry. And Cedric says, what you think of Canate dealing with depression? Serious topic. Do you think there is enough counsel? No. Cedric, I said it, mate, honestly. Honest to God, I said it. I said this on the podcast, that I was doing. I said, what you've got to understand, when people say that Canate was hopeless, I said he went through a terrible time. His dad was ill in hospital. And he couldn't go. He was dying in hospital. Yet there's the Flying Dutchman fucking flying off everywhere. To Ibiza, to Dubai, to Amsterdam. While that lad had to stay at home. And I was saying that to people. But I get that no one takes any fucking notice. And it really is annoying. Umbrella. Open night sounds good, Franco. Think we all need to talk about things? Yes. Yes, Marcella. Me too. And your lovely mum as well. And your lovely mum. And Bella says, "Hi, my beautiful Lauren, not lovely." All the Italians stick together, I've always said, honestly, and see, Italians are so family orientated, it's incredible. They really are. I'm not saying, I'm not dismissing any other groups of people, but I know through my own family. I really do. About family orientation. And when I go to, my daughter's there now, my granddaughter, they're home tomorrow. And my granddaughter, she said, don't want to go home. Don't want to come home. And said, knows these actresses, Joan Blondell and Bette Davis. I always remember Richard Harris, and he was being interviewed. I think it was by what's his face, the Irish fella. God, his name's gone. It wasn't that Parkinson. It wasn't him. Forget his name. Anyway, he said, "What's the most dangerous thing you've done in a film?" And I fell off my chair on it. He said, "Kiss Doris Day." He was good, Richard Harris, because he said, when I used to go home, I find me lads, my son, and he's got his little friends in, and they're all watching my films. And, he said, they used to look at me like, oh. He said, so one day I got them in, I said, bring them around next week, next Wednesday. It was just say like next Wednesday. And he brought them all around, and he said, I put all the bloopers on. He said, one of them was, outside. He said, one of them, he said, was hilarious. He said, because there's a bear running, he said, and we had to be there, behind this mound and fire our gun. He said, they were all blank things, just fire. He said, and me, I forget the other actor's name, he said, we were there, and in the wilds, and this bear comes running down, he said, and it was like that, click, 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 because like the sound of it, the bang of the gun, the bear would have stopped and ran away. He said, and they showed it. And when it wouldn't work, you just see the gun going up in the air. Richard Harris and this other fella running like that. The bear behind him. So funny. He said, I'm no great big hero, in films that the young lads thought of. Well, that's me, he said. Well then, Cedric. So sorry to hear about Kevin and Kenny. Yeah, I hate saying that word. I'm not a hateful person. I don't hate anybody. I don't hate anything, just like, but that's one word I hate. The C word. And Stephen, my old mate, Dancing in the Dark was one of the most disappointing films I have seen. That was made in Liverpool. The play at the Royal Court, Stags and Hens, based on the film, was really funny. Yeah. I could have been an extra in that. Dancing in the Dark. I think some of it was filmed in the Grafton. Didn't want to be a bloody extra. Steamer Lollands again. Dancing in the Dark was filmed in Casa Italia with the same menus. The Casa, eh? But I never mentioned, that was made there. But I thought you was going on about, doesn't matter anyway. And the Vaser, hiya Frank and chat, I went to watch Masters of the Universe yesterday. It was surprisingly good. Don't you realise that it's all American propaganda? We're the heroes. We saved the world. And you've only got to look at what they're doing now in the world, destroying it. I don't watch anything like that. Honestly, I tell you what I did like Superman. Christopher Reeve. Liked it. Good evening, Frank and Reds. Now, is Mark Simons. Good evening, Master. I'm sorry. Good evening. Because I just seen Mark Simons, who came on my football podcast and said, we knew that he, I said he was going, and he said he's going tomorrow. And there's the man himself, Mark Simons. Costa Samica scored a lovely little goal versus Sweden. The lad has got a very underrated shot on. He always tried to have a goal when he was playing for us. You look at some games, he always had a goal. But unfortunately, he's like Joe Gomez, wasn't he? He never scored. Oh, he did, didn't he? He has scored for us. Or was that Kirkes? Anyway, Phil. Hi, Frank, and all the chats. Hey, Phil. And the master says, what TV and film are you putting our way through tonight? I'm going to put you this one right now. The film to watch. And remember when I said the last time, I said, I forgot the title. Remember, I said it was filmed in Liverpool. And it's brilliant. You've only got to watch the opening sequence of this particular film and then right to Liverpool. And you'll go, whoa. But it's not supposed to be in Liverpool, you see. It's supposed to be in... it's supposed to be, I think, London. Not Liverpool. And Natalie Portman and John Krasinski's in it. And it's good. It's a good, like, fun thing, if you know what I mean. It really is good. And what you see, I'm not going to tell you where you see and where it was actually filmed in as well. One of my favourite buildings it was filmed in. And what you see in the film is a load of my altogether favourite buildings. Fantastic. And there's another scene in it where I wish someone has seen it. And I'm sure it's Lime Street Station. But the way Hollywood can do it up. Because what you see, this is supposed to be in, I think, Bangkok. Because part of it's filmed in Bangkok, you know, the opening sequence. But there's a scene in it, in Bangkok, where the main character's going through on a motorbike, you know, one of them little scooters. But when you see him coming down, or when you see him going in, you see a big, massive glass roof. Like that. Shaped like that. And who's got a great big glass roof? And then when you see the interior and you see this fella coming down, it's Lime Street. Simply because you see the big clock, you know, as you come in. And when you get off the train or, you know, you're on the platform, you look up, you see this big clock. And it's unmistakable. But the way Hollywood does it, you know, especially with artificial intelligence, AI, you know, they can put things at the sides and on the floor, if you know what I mean. As though, just have a look at it. And it's called Fountain of Youth. Fountain of Youth. Or The Fountain of Youth. It's a new film. Brilliant. It's really good. I mean, the film, not just because, you know, some of it was filmed here in Liverpool. Just have a look at it. It's a good film. And one of my favourite buildings that it was filmed in, fantastic, is the Walker Gallery. Have a look at it. But there's a couple of other films as well that you can actually see. Frank Areola says the Vader has only ever signed 2-year contracts. I think he's going to do well. Yeah, you know, we've got to give him the chance. But I don't want him to be overruled by the likes of Hughes. You know, that fella who commutes up from Bournemouth to be telling him, like he told the Flying Dutchman, the Dutch cheese. Phil, Terry Wogan, that's him. Richard Harris, yeah. Interview, thank you. And the Vader says, losing a parent is awful. I lost my dad coming up for 2 months. Now, I'm still struggling every day, so I feel for Ibu. Look, I lost my mother on the 22nd of December. 22nd of December, 96. And I had students, it was obviously Christmas, and they couldn't bury her. And she was there for 4 weeks. But I had to go in on the 4th of January because I had students who were coming up to their exams. And, the college said, look, don't come in. We understand. But it was the students who were saying, listen, we don't want a substitute teacher, lecturer. We don't want them. We need Frank. So anyway, I had to put everything behind me and went in. They all passed their exams come the May. They all passed, which I was made up with. But I went through a very difficult time, especially Francine, my daughter. She sent Francine on a message. She went back and she was dead. In hospital. She was in a dormitory, freezing cold. The beds were all full up. And she sent Francine on a message to get her a nightie because she was right into hospital. She took her down to hospital. She said, Nan, you've got to go to hospital. And she went, yeah, I'll give her money. She said, go and get me a night dress and that because I think I'll be staying in. When she went back, she was dead. Imagine that. So I know what you mean, Vader. We've all gone through it. Every one of us. Toscana. Yes, I agree about Italian families. It's one of the reasons I miss being in Italy, as I only have 3 relatives in the UK. I understand that, Tosk, honest to God. I really do. I wish I could be living in Italy, in all honesty. For me, Tsimikas was always a little better than Goma. Well done, Ellie. And the Edward says, Iraola has been confirmed. Thank God for that. And who's this fella? Hey, who's this fella? Hey, this stranger. This strange. Good evening, Frankie and Chatters. And look at all them. That's a what would you call all them scotches for Frank off the Anfield Road? Do you think he's trying to say, oh, listen, mate, here, stop calling me forever, he can drink them? Yes, okay. I see these on, I think it's Anfield's Index, and you've got to pay them to comment. So I'm going to charge you all to comment that Anfield. Do you know what? They're prats then. I'm sorry to say it. Because you get them saying, oh, you know, this fella lives in Scotland and he hasn't even got a Scottish accent, and he's certainly no bloody Scouser, and he puts, you know, and you're paying for it. People are paying for it, and he puts a comments up, and it's up for less than 3 seconds, if that. Puts it up, bang, gone. Disgusting. I wouldn't charge any Liverpool supporter, anything, because they're all fellow Reds. They're me, they're you, they're everybody. If you support Liverpool, why not? Even if you join me on my other pods like the History Show and the thing on a Friday night, conspiracy theories and truth, current affairs, I always read you out because you take your time to comment, like now. And as Edward says, apart from Captain America was filmed in Liverpool, you can see the heritage on it. Yes. It's the way you went to see it. I remember meeting, I was made up. I had a group of people. I was outside the Philharmonic Hall. I was showing them all the wonderful architecture, you know, and if you haven't been to the Philharmonic Hall, just go and have a look at the windows. Fantastic. People are look at the windows, and you see carved within the windows musicians and musical instruments, and hardly anyone ever looks at that. And people think that, you know, the memorial to the Titanic, where is it? People say, oh, it's down at the end of docks. It's not. It's inside the Philharmonic Hall, the plaque. Because of the orchestra and the lads from Liverpool. You know, to the Vader. Was he man? Was the man good then? Yeah. Was the man good then? I haven't a clue what you're talking about. I'm awfully sorry. Natasha. Are you Natasha? I've seen you on pods. I don't comment, you see. But I've seen you on pods, Natasha. And you asked me a question, didn't you? I was on the Fozzie show. Was you, wasn't it? And Natasha says, oh yeah, Iraola has been announced as Liverpool's head coach. Special things are coming. Let's hope, eh? Let's hope, Natasha. Nothing can be worse than what we had. So, yes. Yes. And Phil says to the Woodmaster, mentions his canal boat, and I ended up watching a YouTube video of how to paint your canal boat. I haven't got one, but I need to know. You can't make these things up, can you? Come on. You can't make them up. What was I watching? I watched something stupid myself. And I'm going, what am I sitting here watching this for? I forget what it was. Something to do with mud. God, when I was at school, I was useless at mud work anyway. And Natasha says, my dad says he's so happy that the Dutch cheese fella has gone and Iraola is the new head coach. Yes, I think we're all happy. We're all happy, Natasha. Honestly, sweetheart, we're all happy. He's a special man. Well, let's hope, yeah, I just want to see Curtis Jones here. I want a Scouser in my team. I've grown up, I've seen millions of games, standing in the freezing cold, the roasting hot weather. I've done everything watching the Reds, and there's always been a Scouser in the team. And if you had the Swiss cheese fella with all the holes in, the Dutchman, he would have got rid of our only Scouser. He was a good player, by the way. Natasha. And Bella says, where can you watch the Fountain of Youth, Franco? Come down to me, you can sit there with me and I'll put it on for you. I'll tell you in a moment. There's also, look, you've got the Family Man here, haven't you? You want to watch that? It's brilliant. You get it on YouTube. It's a happy film, but it's a clever film. But Nick Cage. And he's also in another one called, and watch this one as well, it's brilliant. And it's called 12 Hours. With Nick Cage. Very good. There's a comedy. Gotta tell you, honestly. Now, I watched this a few years ago. I did watch it years ago. And when I seen that it was on, I went, whoa. So I put it on. And I was laughing. It was that funny. And you get it on YouTube. It's Steve Martin and Goldie Hawn. And if you haven't seen it, watch it. And it's called House Sitter. Funny. And there's another one, funny one, with Dan Aykroyd and John Candy. And it's called The Great Outdoors. Even Annette Bening, one of my favourite actors, by the way, she is a fantastic actress. And she's in it. The Great Outdoors. Typical Candy. Typical Aykroyd. Watch. So that's two funny ones. The Great Outdoors and House Sitter. House Sitter's brilliant. Honestly, watch it. And I was watching it at 3 o'clock in the morning. Couldn't sleep. I had it on in bed. So I was watching it in bed. I was just laughing, honestly. Got a couple of more to tell you about as well. And the Woodmaster says, it's always good to know how to paint your narrow bum film. I'm a good artist, so I painted my own. I'm cheap like the LFC owners. You can't make these things up. Do you know what? I wish I had my tooth in. I'd be laughing my head off. But I can't with this. I enjoyed Hail Mary sci-fi with Ryan Gosling. Brilliant, though. I mentioned that tonight the other week. Hail Mary. And you get it on YouTube. You get it on YouTube. Incredible. Because I think you mentioned it a couple of weeks ago, didn't you? I said, you stole me thunder. Because I was going to mention it, you see. He's good, Gosling. Gosling's great in interviews, you know. He's really good in interviews. Funny, he just sits there and he listens to the others, you know, the other like guests, and he's just laughing his head off. And Phil says, as an apprentice, I did actually learn how to coach paint, amongst other skills. So it was interesting. It's great, this, isn't it? We get Natasha talking about Irioli. And we got Phil talking about coach. What's a coach, Peter? And that's the one says, you're overqualified, then, Phil. And the Anfield says, Diamante, 100 million deal likely to be agreed. This lad better be good. 19. And that cost is very high for me. It's very high for me. I'm being, honestly, he's unproven in the Premiership. Remember Virts? Getting knocked about, and what do you think they're going to do to him? 100 million for a 19-year-old? Yeah, okay. We need a number 6. We'll pay 100 million for a number 6. I'll be made up. Ali. For those of you who know me, I dedicated my life to my mum. When I will lose her, probably I'll go crazy. Many times I think about it, and I cannot even make a plan. The only thing I say, a mum is a mum. I was watching Real Crime. I always watch it. Those Americans. And you get a hell of a lot of husbands killing their wives. And they've got children, little babies, kids. And they end up killing them, shooting them, or strangling them. There used to be an old Spanish execution, and it was called garrote. If there was an execution, especially for strangulation of garroting, I think it would stop it. The only thing I can tell you about garroting is in one of Pierce Brosnan's James Bond, where the girl's got him. And he's on a chair, can't get out. And she's just going, this thing going around. That's garroting. All right, oh mate, been on them. Yes, loads of scotches, beers, everything. Every night since he's got made up, lad. The film was very good. It reminds me of my youth. I had all the toys. Is that that's the, what is it? The Hail Mary, isn't it? Ryan Gosling. He's Canadian, by the way, Ryan Gosling. And Barry says, you could be the godfather in Sicily, Frank, but watch out for the equaliser. You're not going to believe this. I phoned her. Well, Francine and I were chatting. And I said to her, I said, if I'm okay next year, I said, I'll bring it to Sicily for a couple of weeks. I just want to go to Palermo. And she said, I'm not going for 2 weeks, Dad. I said, okay, but we go. But I've got to be all right. And Dennis says, going to snag a scotch, Anfield Road, before my meeting at the top of the hour. Ciao, and again, thanks to all that came to see us and appreciated the hospitality last week, Frank. Anytime, you know that. Anytime, Dennis. As long as you don't bring that alligator again. Brought a big alligator in. Well, it wasn't big. It was only about 6 foot long. But it was all bandaged up, you know, the jaw. All taped up. And a lovely little Donna says, I lost my hobby almost 2 years ago. It's hard to accept, but I'm trying to stay okay. You'll be okay, Donna. You'll be okay, sweetheart. We all, you know, to lose someone, as I said, but we have to carry on. There are 2 actors who I know. One you will know, and one you mightn't know. And these 2 actors were just married to the one lady, Hollywood, you know, to the one lady all through their lives. And they died within 3 weeks of each other. They just died of a broken heart, the 2 husbands, because they lost the wives first. One was Richard Widmark, him, and the other was a French actor, Charles Boyer, and he died of a broken heart. Once they lost the wives, within 3 weeks they were dead. Broken heart. So you know what it's like. We can feel for these people. The Vader. Batman Part 2 has been filming here as well. Yeah, I don't know. I remember, honestly, you know, it's strange that rarely, because it's in the same place. I was in the town hall. I had to come out. I was getting off. I gave a talk there. And I came out and I was going to go down. I had to meet someone, Pierre. And when I went to walk down, it was all filming in Water Street. And who was walking up was Jude Law. And he was filming Alfie. And it was taken as New York and the Hudson River. Another time, again, in Water Street, I was walking through. It wasn't India building. It was this other building. Beautiful. Fantastic. And I said, oh, it's open. I'm going to go through there. So anyway, he was walking through. And he was walking up. And she had these like a little bit of an entourage behind her. But she was on her own walking through. And it was Meryl Streep. And I went, all right, Meryl. And she went, hi. How are you? I said, I'm all right. I said, what are you doing here? She said, I'm filming with Hugh Grant. Another time I met Jude Law when I was when I was mentioning about the film On a Call. And I was showing the people the windows, and it was great. And I said, and I looked, because people looked over. And I looked over, and I went, oh. I said, listen, just stay there, I'm going over. And it was outside the Hope Street Hotel. They were staying there. And it was Jude Law again, with Robert Downey Jr., when they were up here filming Sherlock Holmes. Shook their hands. Sherlock and Dr. Watson. But they weren't in costume or anything. I think they were just going to go around the town or something. The Anfield Road, King Vader. You and me both, mate. I ended up leaving my empties outside Frank's flat. It's the best thing. Lifted clouds over. So that was you, was it? And the road to the tennis, pap. All right, mate. Did you enjoy yourself in the city? Yeah, and he loved it. If he's gone. And the master says, loss is horrible. It tears you apart. It tears you apart. The scar always stays. The scar always stays there. But the important thing is to carry on living your life and celebrate the person you lost. And the Toscana. I would be living in Italy if my circumstances were different. But that's life. Same here with me. And the Anfield says, all right, Barry, lad. Barry, lad. A mate of mine wrote, I forget what it was, you know. I don't know whether it was Brick up the Mersey tunnels or what. And the fella goes into a pub and his name's Alan. He said, all right, Alan, lad. All right, Alan, lad. And his name's Alan, lad. He called you Alan, lad. That's all he was saying. He's having a conversation. Oh, you know what I mean, Alan, lad? Alan, lad. All right, Barry, lad, slot machine has been unplugged and dumped in the Mersey. Yes. Yes. And lovely little Natasha says, Frank, just watch the interview. Brilliant on LFC TV. It always says he will make the players play better. He wants to make the club great again and challenge for the title and other trophies. That's what we like to hear. That's what we like to hear, Natasha. And the road to the Vader. Diamandi better be 100 million, pretty steep if you know what our owners are like. If they spend that, there will have to be some sales, and I think so. Bosley, who else is worth a lot of money? So you've got to come to your own conclusion about that. Who else is worth a lot of money? Because you know the model, and it's always there with, you know who, FSG, and that's sell to buy. Remember Torres, when he was sold to Chelsea for 50 million, and who did we bring in? That Carlyle dope. Remember him, Carlyle? Who did he bring in? Andy Carroll. Remember the Northern Irish fella? And this is fact what I'm going to tell you, and believe it. Believe this. From the horse's mouth, this. Not my horse, not me. This other horse's mouth. At the same horse's mouth that I told you, the Dutch cheese fella was getting sacked 2 weeks before he was sacked. Remember me telling you? Remember what I was saying? Wait till June. Wait till June. Wait till June. Wait till June. And no one took a blind bit of notice. Well, you did. Some of you did. And he was gone. Get onto this. Suarez. Suarez pleaded with the Northern Irish fella to play in the Champions League the following season. And he said, you're off. You're going. You're out. That's what he said. You're going. After Suarez, Luis Suarez, was pleading with him. Just let me play one season then for Liverpool in the Champions League. And who did he bring in? Ricky Lambert for Suarez. These are the players that Steven Gerrard was playing with. Fuck. Brilliant. Look at these t-shirts. Gotta show you this. They haven't sent them through. Can you see what's on them? I don't know what's happened. No, mamma mia. Right. I hope you can see. It's got Lar on. Aren't they brilliant? Right, Lar? Brilliant. Lar. Thanks, Steve. So, yeah, you know, so you've got to ask yourself, no, who's going to be sold because they'll want to recoup their money. You know that. You know that. Albeit we spent 450 million in the summer. The net spends was 200. And who pays for the... do you think they lost money by that? No. Sponsorships. They pay for the net spend. So they lose nothing. They just make our owners all the time. And Natasha, like my dad, he travels all over the world with Liverpool when he was young, when he was a young lad. My dad was born in 1947. I've travelled all over as well. all over the place, everywhere. There's a song as well, it's called You're Everywhere But Nowhere, Baby. That was me. Excuse me. Friggin' hell. That was hard work. I've got this pain in my elbow. I haven't had it for ages. Well, they have, but they haven't, if you know what I mean. Got it back. I'm going to have a drink of my vodka. Loads of vodka there. Yeah, I was all over the place myself, Natasha, and so were a lot of other lads as well. You know, got to be honest there with our wonderful fans. And the Vader says that Gapco's put in a transfer request. Transfer request. Apparently, Bayern and Atletico are after him. I'll drive him. I'll drive him. And that's what says. Areola said he wants to earn the right to be one of us, the fans. That's all we want. Embrace the fans. The Swiss cheese fella didn't he? He never embraced anybody. He didn't live near the city. He lived in our most rival club, City, Man United. Think about that. And he called us, didn't he? Thought we were stupid. Remember when the young Rio was getting pulled up? And he said, what do they know? They know nothing about Rio. Don't we? We can know about you. Prat face. Two great films, those, Frank. Yes, they are. Thank you. Do you mean the outdoors? The great outdoors? And House Sitter, two funny films, though. But you've got to watch, as our lovely Bella said, or Tosca, where can we watch them? Where can we watch The Fountain of Youth? The Fountain of Youth is about, a fella who goes around getting, like ancient things. Ancient things. But it's good. It's so funny. Great acting. And as I said, that Natalie Portman, she's in it. And don't get the wrong idea about Natalie Portman, because she came out and she's in support of Palestine. So when you'll do me. And even Phil says, oh, shit, a film is a good laugh. Thank you. Yes. But back to films, eh? What a funny film House Sitter is, Frank. Good call. I remember me sister taking me to the cinema to see it. Get us on YouTube. Vader. I watched it years ago, as I said, and I was in bed. I was watching it. Couldn't sleep. Put a film on, and I was laughing. I was made up. I seen it. I was sitting pink. Put it on. And the other one on YouTube is The Great Outdoors, as I mentioned. John Candy, Dan Aykroyd, Annette Bening. Oh, if you like a good science fiction one, I like Lawrence Fishburne. I think he's a great actor, black actor, great actor. And in my opinion, he's the best black actor over there. He really is, because he's so diverse in his roles. I've seen him play bad dudes. I've seen him play funny people. I've seen him play like a doctor, and so he's very diverse. And this particular, can you get it on it? Try and search, not research. The Signal. It's a cracking sci-fi. The Signal. Lawrence Fishburne. The Signal. And the Wood says, John Candy's such a nice man, so funny, and rejected for hundreds of roles due to his size. Yeah. I tell you who's a great actor. And that's unsimilar, this. John Goodman. Great actor. John Goodman. And because he's gone, he went on a diet, I think it was for health reasons. No one will pick him. No one, he can't get a job. Because he went like that. Pink. Because they said he's unrecognisable. It's not the John Goodman we used to know. And that's the way Hollywood treat you. Two great films, those, Frank. Yeah. Look, get The Fountain of Youth. You've got to stream it, though. And it's not on YouTube. But it's brilliant. I always remember watching what was it called? Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Black and white one. With Andrew McCarthy. Not Andrew McCarthy. His dad. Andrew McCarthy's dad in it. And good actor. And it was a great film. It was a Cold War film. The Invasion of the Body Snatchers, where they were doing all this Cold War propaganda, weren't they, the Americans? And it was like, aliens coming and taking over the bodies. But what the message was, watch out for these Russians, these Soviets coming over to take over you and the land. But it was great. But there was a remake, 78, 79, with Donald Sutherland, The Invasion of the... And you get that on YouTube if you haven't seen it. Wasn't Annette Bening in the President? Yes, she was. It was a great film, that. Yes. She was a reporter, wasn't she? And Michael Douglas was the president, wasn't he? Now, when I found out about Michael Douglas, I wouldn't watch any film he's in. Will not watch anything. Neither is, won't even watch anything with his dad in. Won't watch anything with him in. The pair of them. It's the way I am. I miss out on the likes of Kirk Douglas. I call him Burke Douglas. He was in a great film, and it was a true story, black and white for authenticity. And if you ever get it, stream it, watch it. If you don't mind Douglas, I just do not like that man. Horrible man. Or he was, you know what I mean? Don't like talking about, the... Anyway, he's gone. And it was called, one of a great film, true story, First World War, Paths of Glory. Try and catch it if you can. It's brilliant, true story about the French. Watch it. But the presidents, Michael Douglas with Annette Bening, great. He was in another good. There's one you can get on YouTube, and I watched it. I think Andy Garcia was in it. Andy Garcia is a great actor, and it's called Black Rain. It's really good. It's about the Yakuza over in Japan. It's a good film. And my own mate, Steve Mulholland. I watched the filming of J.R. Tolkien outside the Walker, and there was a false wall that was supposed to be in a cafe in Birmingham. Yeah, the view in the film from above looked amazing. Great Tolkien, isn't he? I remember being on a bus coming from town, and it was roasting day. And I needed to get home because I never ever brought my car into town. And parking and getting parking tickets all the time. Anyway, I was coming home nevertheless. And I seen all the big film crew. They were in two locations. One, St. George's Hall Plateau, and the other was outside the Walker. And as we got by the Walker on the bus, looking over, you see two fellas, like two soldiers, and they had them bear skins on. The Russian hat. And it was being filmed both locations for the Hunt for Red October, and it was supposed to be Moscow, and they never used it. They didn't use it, unfortunately. The Hunt for Red October with Denzel Washington and Sean Connery. Great film. Because you imagine those two, they must have been extras with uniforms on standing there. outside the doors of the Walker, these big heavy coats and those hats, supposed to be winter, you see. Do you ever remember, what was it called? Steve Coogan. He was in a film as well. All films in Liverpool. And my old mate, Jake, who's no longer with us, he was in it, Jake Abraham. And it was actually the scene I remember was in was the old Bank of England in Castle Street. Shame, when you think about people and passing on, especially like a friend, who was a very good actor, Jake Abraham. Gone. And Dennis says, great news, meeting pushed out to early next week and I'm gone out a bit longer. Says the alligator man. The Woodmaster. Viagra update. I tried to take a Viagra tablet and got it stuck in my throat. That's enough of a step. We have lazies listening in. And Phil says, this channel is an eclectic mix. It is, isn't it? And Ali, what? 100 million for Diamante? What the? Instead, that's 70 million euros for Bastoni, and we don't need them. But pay 100 mil. Oh no, we do need him though. Bastoni, I'd love Bastoni, but pay 100 mil for a nameless player. We just have to see how he is in the Prem. It could be another Wirtz. But as I said, like Liverpool football fan, all Reds, I can't believe them going on. There's one. I seen Jan Mulby on, and I put a comment on. I said, all right, Jan, how are you? And he would have answered me. Because I know, knows me. And it came up, you have to pay if you want to comment. And I said, I'm not swearing, but I did swear. Charging our Red fans. It's a Red channel. No wonder these fucking pricks don't work. And loads of comments going on. I even seen Anfield Road on there. And Daryl Merry today. Never seen Anfield Road today, but I have seen them on. So they pay. And I don't think any podcasters should pay anything. I really don't. I really don't see them charging fellow Reds. I think it's wrong. But that's just me. And Barry says, Phil, I saw how to cook a good poached egg. I don't eat eggs, but it was interesting. Do you know what? I think I watched the same, but it didn't turn out the fucking same. It didn't turn out the same. I bought a little machine for poached eggs, and they were great. Done perfectly. And I had a little plastic thing, you know, it gave you the, you know, if you want it soft, if you want it, you know, hard. And I'm not talking about Viagra, by the way. And anyway, you know, I used to just fill it to that, and it was spot on. So when you filled it up to that little level and poured it like in this thing, put your egg in, up, thank God, lovely. Our Francine came down, didn't she, to clean up. Haven't found it. And I tried to do it, you know, guess the thing, failed. Failed about 9 times, because I love poached eggs on toast. And I forgot to give Dennis Papa. Never asked him if he wanted he mightn't have had any breakfast or anything. And I do, honestly, the best. I'm not just saying this. The best scrambled eggs in the business. Me. Best scrambled eggs ever. Got the knack of it. I have, honestly. Not joking. And Steve Mulholland. In 2023, I seen another film being made at the back of St. George's Hall. I was told they were filming Our Man in Moscow. Don't know what happened to that. Maybe it was that. Our Man in Moscow. Maybe it was that, you know. What I seen on the steps of the Walker, and also the film crew around on the plateau of St. George's Hall. Oh, Dennis, he's still, and you know what I said about the scrambled eggs. He said it would have been lovely with that coffee, because that's it with cappuccino. I do a great cappuccino, by the way, as well. And he said it would have been great with that. He must have been starved. So sorry. Sorry, mate, honestly. Next time, eh? Scrambled egg for Dennis Paparak and the Incurables. And the master. To be honest, young Rio can play the right wing rather than 100 million. Yeah, I agree there. I want a number 6. I mean, this is the 4th year going in now. Wanting a number 6. I've been saying for 3 years, haven't I? This is the 4th year. 4th season. And lovely little Donna. Has anyone watched the Steve Martin film, The Man with Two Brains? Hysterical. Yes, it is. It is, Donna. Fun. Steve Martin. He's brilliant, Steve Martin. But Donna, get on YouTube and watch The House Sitter. It's just called House Sitter. With Goldie Hawn. It's so funny. You will laugh your little head off. You'll laugh your little heads off, Donna. And Phil says, Donna, I'll have a look at that. Title of Trump's new movie is The Man with No Brains. Or is that The Man with Scrambled Egg Brains, you mean? And Natasha says, just watch the other part of the video. Arola wants to become one more of the Liverpool community and win trophies for the fans. Yeah, you see, it's like the Swiss cheese fella who's Dutch. When he came, he said, Nottingham. I play like Klopp, he said. No, you don't. Anyway, that's by the by. And, you know, they do say these things. They do say these things. But I've got more faith in this man, Natasha, than I had with the Dutch cheese fella. Honestly, I have got more faith in him. But he's got to be given a free rein. What I mean is by bringing players in rather than Hughes and Edwards saying, oh, tell you what, let's get him. Because you think he wants a Diamendi. This is well, if we get him, he's bound to say, yeah, I want a Diamendi. I want that Elliot Anderson. I think he's homegrown. I think he'd be brilliant as a number 6 for us. I like him. I like that Bastoni. I watched Serie A. I watched the Azori. And he stands out, that lad. He's brilliant. But, you know, you have to watch other pods because you get loads of them saying, we want this, we want that. And that particular podcast where you're paying to, you know, you can't even comment unless you pay. He comes out with a load of bollocks every day. 4 times a day comes on. And you're paying for it. And he just comes out with this. He's reading. And he reviews The Sun, which that was it with me. They review the current bun. And we don't like the current bun. We do not like it. It's banned in our city for what happened on the 15th of April, 1989. And what they said. And they review it. And anyone who reviews it, anyone who reads it, I have no respect for whatsoever. And I have every respect for all our Reds. But if I find out that Reds who don't live in Liverpool by the Sun, I always remember going to the game. I think it was with Francine. Sure it was. Walking up Arkles Lane. And then, you know, by the Arkles there, turning right to go to the game. And there was a fella standing against the railings, you know. And there was a couple of other fellas, and they had papers hitting them over the head. Boom. I said, hang on a minute. So I ran over. I said, what are you doing? And what they were hitting him with, and he was just standing there reading, was the current bun. But they were just hitting him with it. We don't read that here, lad. That's banned in this city. And I said, but he might be from, I forget who we were playing. Playing a London team. I said, so. Well, it happens. He never punched him or anything, just hit him with the paper he was reading. He just snapped it. He was reading it like this. He said, let's see. I just don't know, grabbed it off him. I have a tip for the worst film ever. Made the Turkish Rambo is so bad, it's good. And a film. Turkish. I watched the film. I think it must have been the most. I don't know what it was. And I'm sitting there. I had it on, and it's called The Stranger Things. Stranger Things or something like that. And all you've got, and it's called The Fireplace. And what you see is a fireplace, crackling fire. Above it, you've got like these Christmas decorations, lights, Christmas lights. And some wedding. Oh no, it's not wedding. It's the alphabet, A, B, C, D, in between these lights. You see two lamps at either side, one on a coffee table, one on a just standard lamp, a radio, a couch, and so chair, and you're looking at it, and I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at, and I was looking at it for just on 7 minutes, nothing happened. So I fast forwarded it. Right down to the end. And what it was, and it's a Netflix film. And I go right to the end, so I stop to see if anything's going to happen or if I've missed out on anything. And then the lights just started flickering. And so did the Christmas lights, across the wall, started flickering. The fire started, and there was like mad music. Like that. And then it just went off. Oh no, you see like a shadowy figure where the lights were on the wall, on the alphabet, like a little figure. And it goes blah, like that. And then goes off. Looking at it, and the next you just see it going down into the ground, this particular thing, where you see bikes and things, bikes on the floor underneath this ground. And that was the film. You might come across it. Couldn't believe it. Nothing. And the master says, a film called My Bloody Valentine. Oh, I've seen that. Seen that. Natasha, Iriola will get working on transfers on Monday, I guess, says Natasha. I hope so, Natasha. I really hope so, because I don't want yous bringing in players. I really don't. I want a manager to say, he'll fit our system, man. Go and get him. He'll fit our system. That's why Klopp was so good, because he said, I want him. The only bad, I think you'll all agree with me here, the only bad signing Klopp did, and I even questioned it at the time, was Carrius. Because Klopp said, I've just signed the second best keeper in Germany. And I said at the time, no, we want the best, not the second best. We're not a second best club. Jürgen. And he was the worst goalkeeper ever played for Liverpool Football Club. The worst. And I've seen loads of goalkeepers, from Tommy Lawrence under Shanks right up to today. He was the worst ever in. And he lost us the cup final in Kiev against Real Madrid. Carriers. And a mate of mine seeing him play right. And he said, I was crying after the game. And Dave were like, you were crying, were you? I was standing with a load of effing kids who were crying their eyes out because of you. Get in there, Dave. I'm glad you said that. All right, all big smiles now. He's gone, and I'm glad. Says Barry Aldridge. Yes. Hope you're all right, Donna. She'll be all right. Yeah, she will. You know, all right, she lost her little husband, but she'll be okay. She's a strong lady. And Natalie says, my dad said, Frank, all the top stars come from Liverpool. I've gone on to do great things. Yes. Yes. Yes, Natasha. Of course they have. And the master, I'm sure the fella off Wayne's World was born in Liverpool. No, Wayne's World. No, that was Mick Myers. No, it's not Mick Myers. I know Mick Myers. Well, anyway, his name's Myers. And he's Canadian. But his dad was born and bred in Liverpool's parents. And he emigrated. He had him. He was a little boy. He had him. And he became, because his dad was a Liverpool supporter, he became a big red, and he goes to match. He actually comes over. Mick Myers. No, it's not Mick, is it? I know Mick. But his name's Myers anyway. Can't think of his name. He plays a general in Inglourious Basterds. Oh, I don't know about that. I've never seen Inglourious Basterds. That's what me double, isn't it? Brad Pitt. I haven't seen it. And the Vader. See? Vader, because you're late, because you've been on YouTube watching other pods, football pods, and you can't get off them, you're glued to them. I've been talking about that all through at the beginning of the podcast. Told them where they filmed as well. The Fountain of Youth. But you're right, he did. Man on Fire, brilliant, yeah. Man on Fire, Netflix. And The Borough's on Netflix, both belters. Steve, you're still with us. What's that? It was a great film by, what was it called? By Bleasdale. About a social club. With the greens and the orange. I forget what it was called. All great Irish actors and Scousers. I forget the name of it. And Phil says to the Wood, Mike Myers' parents were from Liverpool. There you go. Mike, yeah. I know a Mick. No, Mick Myers. His name was Mike, wasn't it? Yeah. And Evo, new area T-shirt gonna piss off the blue neighbours. Is that the one you sent me, Steve? La, yeah, it will. Evening goal, anyway. Oh, an hour late, aren't we? Right. Sorry, Edward. I'd sell Dom if he doesn't sign a contract. He only has 2 years left on his contract. And we can have another Trent. We can. And we can have another Trent. Well, someone's going to be sold to bring in this Diamandi because FSG, you see the comment there, FSG, the least says about them. And Steve, Brenda fucking fraud him. I never swore it was him. It was Steve. Told you I read out comments. Brenda fucking fraud him. And I agree with Evo. And Tuscara to the Wood. John Candy was brilliant. Never seen him in a bad film. I love Uncle Buck. Uncle Buck. Brilliant. And the Edward says, can't yet emphasising that. Steve Mullins. Klopp was the normal one. Uncle Fester was the clueless one. What should we call Areola? The nice one. Because he's saying nice things at the moment, isn't he? Whether it works out, I don't know. Exactly, Toscana. Well said, says the master. To the Anfield Road. Of course it did, mate, says Dennis the Paparak. Because the Raw said that you enjoy yourself in the city. Yes, of course he did. I'm going to go right down after this one. I'm sorry if I'm going to, miss a few. I'm awfully sorry about this. Phil. Frank, we love the Blood Brothers. Seen it a few times. Liverpool and London, but the audience in Liverpool get more of the jokes. Yeah, they do. Blood Brothers. We have great talent in Liverpool. Honestly, I'm going to go right down. I'm awfully sorry about this, lovely people. Let's see. I'll just go right down there. Oh, for fuck's sake. And Donna says, the weirdest film ever is the one about cavemen who don't speak and walk around with a bucket of fire. You see, I think that symbolised something about the gods, the bucket of fire, because Prometheus, one of the gods, he stole from the gods the fire and he gave it to man. And when you read Frankenstein, got his ear somewhere, when you read Frankenstein, you know, you just think that the title, by Mary Shelley, you just think that the title is Frankenstein. It's not. It's Frankenstein, Prometheus Unbound. And Jana says, Suan Vega wrote an album dedicated to her ex from Liverpool. Oh, didn't know that. Is the TV film not on Saturday morning this week? Says no. No, I have a lie-in. Someone mentioned it tonight, and you know, put us on, and I said, okay, yeah, so I'll put us on tonight. And we've got through a few films, but we're getting through everything else as well. We're getting into How to Paint a Badge, football. No surrender, says the poet. Yeah, great, thank you. That was it, wasn't it? No surrender, funny. Steve Evans' favourite film, that. Debated. I know, Frankie, I haven't been on other pods. I missed the first 15 minutes, but being on yours ever since. Your pods are the best by a mile. I'll always listen if I can. I'm only kidding, Vader. You know, don't say. Everyone gets annoyed with Frank. Don't forget about the films I mentioned. See, you'd have to stream the Fountain of Youth. You've got to stream that somewhere if you've got one of them little things. But it's well worth a look, honestly. And as I said, you know, at the beginning, you see the lad, the main character in Bangkok, because they're always after artifacts, you see. And then I'm telling you now, it's Lime Street Station, which is supposed to be Bangkok. And as you know, the AI and the way they can do it up now, it's definitely really seeing driving through on a motorway. It's really good. Try and catch it. And it's humorous. With John Krasinski and the lovely Natalie Portman. I'll tell you what else you can find thinking about John Krasinski on YouTube. A Quiet Place. If no one's seen it, watch it. A Quiet Place. Emily Blunt and John Krasinski. They're husbands and wife in real life, though. It's good. A Quiet Place. But thanks for that, Vader. I was only messing, you know. Anyone remember that once? Yeah, I do, poet. And there was two lads. One went on to be great. I met him in A&R up in. I was doing some filming for about John Kirk, and they were up in the studio up in Westminster Road. They were there themselves. Great. Chatting to them. And A&R at the time was playing Sherlock Holmes. No, he wasn't. He was playing Dr. Watson. Yeah, one summer was brilliant, but not that. Jesus Christ, what was the lad's name? The lad, he only done that thing, and he just vanished. And I thought he was better than the fella who's made Hollywood. I forget his bloody name. His name's gone from me. But he's a good actor, by the way. Oh, for fuck's sake. Mr. B. Good evening, Frank. Good evening, Mr. B. We need a Steve McMahon. Do you know what? Steve McMahon was mentioned by a girl named Natasha. She said, what was Steve McMahon like? My dad said he was great. I said, yeah, he was. And you've just come out and said that. If Natasha's looking in or the dad, he'd be made up. And she'd be made up. But you mention it, Mr. B. Stevie McMahon. And I gave a little story about him. And what's his name? Vinnie Jones. And Mr. B. Carlito's Way. Great film. Yeah, Pacino. Yes. It is a great film, actually. And The Master. Great channel, great community. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. It costs nothing. Thank you. Now, I've had loads on here. And what I see is 4 likes. You see? And I'll do my best. But maybe they don't like me, or maybe they like the content, but not me. I don't know. And Mr. B. Steve McMahon, a proper hard man. He was. I knew his family. And Steve was a massive blue. And I mentioned before, Mr. B, when he plays in his first derby for Liverpool against the Blues, should have seen him getting stuck in. And even Zenna's Papa, I got all the way from Tampa, Florida. You see, it was 27 likes on here. But it's what I see on there, you see. Dennis. So there's 2. It's just to get the algorithm out. But you're right there, Mr. B, about Stevie Mac. Vader says, seen that, Frank? Cillian Murphy's in the sequel as well. Good film. Yeah, Cillian Murphy is in, The Quiet Place 2. I never watched that one, to be honest. I never watched it. If you want to watch a film with Emily Blunt in, it's not that old, but it's a cracker. With Tom Cruise. And it's a science fiction one. And what's it called? I forget what it's called. Sorry. but you might know yourself. And it's about Brendan Gleeson's in it. Brendan, great actor, Brendan. And he plays a general. And he says to Tom Cruise, who's like a sort of, he's a major in the army, but he does all the publicity. But this Brendan Gleeson says to him, when you're going over there to join the front line. And he said, anyway, he gets sent over. And it's about aliens in France. Oh, I forget the name of it. It's just gone from me. But Emily Blunt, Tom Cruise, and Brendan Gleeson. Try and catch it. It's really good. It's really good. If you like science fiction, it's a really good film. And Cedric says, Emily Blunt was on a programme saying she had a problem stuttering. I have. You didn't know that, did you? I do. Does anyone remember The Quiet Man? Says Janet. John Wayne, Maureen O'Hara. Brilliant. Set in Ireland. And Victor McLaughlin. And the lovely little Donna says, one summer, Billy's seen an icky. It was filmed at the bottom of my block. Yeah. I forget the fella's name. And he's a massive star. Big Hollywood star now. Jeez. I'll tell you the film to watch if you like love stories. And great cast. Penelope Cruz. John Hurt. John Hurt plays Penelope Cruz's dad, and Nicolas Cage. And it's called Captain Corelli's Mandolin. True story. Captain Corelli's Mandolin. Brilliant. Brilliant. If you like a love story. Oh, and Christian Bale's in it as well. Something like that, Christian Bale. He's a nasty man, him. He's a nasty man to Cruise. You know, the Cruise works on it. Even the assistants who was feeding them, go away, don't want that. Go and get me something, and all this. Christian Bale. But he was great in The Vice. Bale. He was really good in it. Played a great. He should have won an Oscar, in my opinion. About Cheney, Dick Cheney, that horrible warmongering, just a horrible man. I won't swear. And he played him, The Vice, brilliant. Should have got an Oscar. Dick Cheney. And the poet John Hurt had a good run in the late 70s and early 80s. Alien, Watership Down. The Elephant Man, brilliant, should have got an Oscar for that. The Plague Dogs and Champion. Yeah, he played Bob Campion, didn't he? It's the only time I've ever won on the National. And that was on Aldeniti. That Bob Campion, champion was it? Won, and he played him. He played him, John Hurt. Great actor, John Hurt. Fantastic. 10 Rillington Place. Oh. And watch that. John Hurt. Says 30 on mine, says the Vader. Thank you, Vader. Majority is for, I know them, and they are, every one of them. Blues, every single one of them. I think they were sick at Stevie for joining us from Aston Villa. And Phil says that he was a great actor. Of course he was, John Hurt. And the Pap. Need to hop off. Have a great night, folks. Should see you all tomorrow. Thank you, Dennis. He's great, Dennis, you know. He's a lovely fella. I wish you could have come down and met him, you know. He's a really nice fella. Steve Mulholland met him. Went down the cavern pub, and got his photograph taken with him. And Mr. B says, just watch the clip of Areola. He's saying all the right stuff. Yes. I think this could be a good journey. We've got to get behind him. But he's got to bring in the right players. It's no use relying on... I'm not being funny when I say this. Bowen, the likes of Bowen, come on. We're Liverpool. We are Liverpool. And that means more. Remember Jürgen? And obviously, he's definitely done his own work on us. You don't need to do your own work, but what I'm saying, he's got right into us, especially the fans. If no one embraces my city and us Scousers and every other Liverpool fan throughout the globe, waste of time. Waste of time. That's just my opinion. You've got to embrace the city. You've got to embrace everything about Liverpool. And I think this fella will do it. No, I don't think he will do it. Because he knows what we don't demand things. We do not demand things. There's a banner there which says everything for us. Make us dream. Make us dream. It's not a demand. It's just make us dream. That's what we're like. The Vader. The edge of tomorrow. That's it. Thank you, Vader. Edge of Tomorrow. Edge of Tomorrow. Great film if you haven't seen it. And Phil says, bye, Dennis. Poet, good night, Dennis. That's nice, though. And if anyone sees the Scottish Bear, tell them that, you know, this channel's always been asking after them. And send them our love, you know. Love to see him back on here. And I know his sister actually writes out the stuff for him. Maybe he's looking at us and his sister isn't there to do the writing. But just in case, if anyone sees him, just say, Frank was asking about you. And this channel always asked about him, didn't he? Him and the Red Bird. because we're like that. We're like that. We've got feelings. By the way, he has a stutter. Who John it? Lockstock. Hello, Lockstock. P40. Tula, brilliant actor, him. Tulis. Absolutely brilliant actor, him. Very underrated. Tulis. Good man. And Mr. B. My mum's best friend's husband just got 16-year sentence. He suffers from a stammer. They think he won't finish it. Two of my old mates, I know they won't look at it like, you know that. And he said, he going out, yeah, all right. And they were terrible stutterers. And one of the lads brought his nephew along. I was standing, when you hear me, you don't want to stop. That's why, and I carry on, don't I? Anyway, fucking three of us in the saddle, Dale Street. And even the barmaid, you know, she was looking over like, and trying to have a conversation. And I said, listen, lads, I've got to go. I forgot I have got to see someone. I said, that's why I was a bit reluctant to come out. I said, I forgot all about it. I said, so I'll see you again. Started off at 7:05. And by 8:05, they mustn't have been about between the three of them. 2 sentences. I couldn't handle it. Couldn't handle it. Am I mean? No. And the master, Icky, wow, memory's coming back. Icky Dicky. I've visited going where the quiet man was. Did you, Janet? Poet, Letter to Brezhnev, Margie Clark, and Alexandra Pig. Know the pair of them. Margie Clark's a great actress. Great actress. Colin Firth's brother was in it, wasn't he? He was the Russian sailor, Peter Firth. Never heard of him anymore, did you? Couldn't have the goat anyway. Lockstock says, go and knit yourself an iron curtain. Oh, that's lovely, that. Go and knit yourself an iron curtain. Strangely enough, you know, Lockstock that particular phrase came out of Churchill, because he said about China being the bamboo curtain and the Soviet Union being the Iron Curtain. And you even get today, I don't know why the West dislike Chinese so much. They even got it today. And Russia. Just hate them. But I'm not talking about you, me, or any of these on here. My people on this. It's the politicians. And it goes back hundreds of years. Phil, Frank Deliverance are brilliant. I used to subscribe to a fella, only a young American, because he spoke the language I listened to, the truth. And then one day, right out the blue, I was just sitting there listening. It's going on about Ukraine and, Zelensky, that prick. And he said, someone, like a comment came over and said about England, would you ever come over to England? He said, no. It's just there, England. It's just there, nothing there for me. This is what he was saying. And he said, anyway, they're all inbred. It's what he called us, a nation of inbreds. It's a nation of inbreds. England is just there. Just there. And George Galway has him on his show. At every opportunity he can get him. A fella named Jackson Hinkle. And I put a comment up on it as I was watching it. Live show. Called him for everything. And I said to George Galway, put a comment on, I said, don't have him on. I said, he called us a nation of inbreds. And I mentioned that film, Phil, Deliverance. And the Hills Have Eyes and all those things. I said, he's calling us a nation of inbreds. But Galway has him on. I think he just wants the American audience to see. Fucking Hinkle. You see, anyone who calls Scousers, fuck them off. Anyone who calls the nation, the likes of him, an American, calling us fucking a nation of inbreds, they can fuck off as well. Were you right there, Phil? John Voight. Bert Reynolds. Alzaniti says lock, stock. Yeah, I've done that. Lock, stock. That's the only bloody thing I've ever heard. Betted on and won. John Hurt. Brilliant, says Janet. Yes. John was better, says the Lockstock. And the Woods. What was the programme called with the lads who had a mate called Icky? One Summer, I think it was called, Master. One Summer. Fuck, I still forget his name. He's a major star. He's a major Hollywood star. Telling you. It's not Stephen Graham, because I know Stephen. It's not him. It was before him. Forget it. Forget his name. And the Master says, what was the programme called with the lads who had a mate called Icky? The lads was obsessed with Graham. Yeah, he was. Janet 10 Rillington played brilliant. He was great in that, John Hurt. And Dickie Darling Attenborough. He was brilliant. And Judy Geeson. Judy. Scully. He may played him. Drew Schofield. Stephen Graham said, I was walking up and I was going to his birthday party. And he mentioned two people. And I said, what's Nick Cage like? And he said he's the sweetest man he's ever known. He's done everything for the crew. Gave them a party. Went around a full crew. Even a brusher upper, he said. And he gave them an envelope each. And each envelope had $2,000 in. And he put a big spread on. And he just said, he gave a little speech. And he said, thank you. These have been beautiful people. Just enjoy. Got off. At the end of the film, Nick Cage. And the other fella he mentioned, Stephen, he said he's the best actor ever to come out of Liverpool. And that was Drew Schofield. And he is. Great actor. Can play every instrument as well. And the poet, there you go. Andrew Schofield. And the Vader, I don't think you'll be watching Heat 2, Frank. Bale and DiCaprio, no. That DiCaprio's a bit dodgy, Bit fucking dodgy, He only likes young women, doesn't he? I watched the documentary not so long ago, and I got the shock of my life. Do you ever remember that Don Johnson? He was in that Miami Vice, wasn't he? All this. And I always remember Tippi Hedren being in two Hitchcock films, one The Birds and some Marnie. Marnie was the other one. And she was always saying about, she always said, after he died, obviously, because she's still alive, Tippi Hedren. And she said that he was always making sexual, comments to her and, trying to touch her. And that was Hitchcock himself. And when she was saying that, and then she did another film with him. And I thought, you're a fucking phony, you. If she's saying that and then done another film with him, you'd just steer clear, wouldn't you? You'd just say, fuck off, not doing it. Never forget that. And then, as I said, I was watching this documentary. And Melanie Griffith's daughter, you're not going to believe this, but she had to sign a paper for her daughter, Melanie, to marry Don Johnson. You might think that's a bit strange. It reminds me of Rudyard Kipling and one of the greatest poems ever written. And it's a two-liner. If any question why we died, tell them because our fathers lied. And that was in the First World War, when dads was signing a piece of paper for their sons to go to war, age 14 and 15 years of age. And they, you're not blaming us if something happens to them. And I went to film the World War One graves, and I was kneeling by two gravestones. Two English lads. One was 14 and one was 15. Filmed it. So Rudyard Kipling, he has a son, Harry died, didn't he? Because he signed a thing, a piece of paper, because he suffered from bad eyesight. His son. He loved his son. He adored his son. But the army wouldn't let him go in because of his myopic thing. And then he asked his dad, he said, Dad, you know generals, you know everybody, please get me in. I want to do me bit. I want to join my friends. And he got him in, but he had to sign that piece of paper. We're not taking any responsibility if something happens to him. Harry was killed because Harry came out of the trenches, went over the top with all the shelling and everything going on and all the earth going up in the air constantly. And he was disorientated and he heard the whistle go. And he thought he was getting back to his lines because the whistle was to get back to your lines. And he walked straight into the German lines and was killed. That's why he wrote the poem. If any question why we died, tell them because our fathers lied. Think about that. And it reminds me of when I was listening to this, I just shook my head. The paper's signed by Tippi Hedren. She's in her 90s now. She's still alive here. To marry Don Johnson, she signed it. And I guess how old Melanie was. 14. I couldn't believe it. So what does that make that fucking Don Johnson? Things like that. Really do. Which Liverpool player played for both Scotland and England, save Steve Holland? Was it Billy Liddell? I know he played for the World Cup team and the World team. I don't fucking know what it. They Live is a boss film, Frank. Yeah, it is, Carl. They Live. The sunglasses, isn't it? He's dead, him, the lead actor, Roddy Piper. But it says John Carpenter. Good shout, that, actually, Carl. John Walk says The Lock Stock. I don't know, I really don't. And Phil says, Frank, someone told me Conor Bradley injury so bad will never be the same. And Ekatike also unlikely ever to be the same. Frank, what do you know? Yeah, especially Ekatike. I've seen footage of him, I don't know, it was a couple of days later or something. The footage was shown, but he was coming off the pitch. I think he was going down a tunnel, it was filmed. And his foot just went, just like that. Flopped. And that's bad. For the young lad. Sad, isn't it? But Bradley, I didn't half like that kid. I loved that Bradley. I think we've got to do some buying, I really do. But we've got to buy players excuse me a minute, for fuck's sake. We've got to buy players that are already made. I don't want young players with potential. I don't need them. If we want to get off to a great start, and Steve Holland to the Lockstock. Correct. John Walk. Didn't know that. Playing for both England and Scotland. He's made up. The Lockstock's made up. And the master, very true about Conor Bradley, Phil. They reckon McAllister might have shin splints as well. That's a career ender. It is because, who has it? Our left back. Jesus, what was his name? And he was good. His name's gone. And he had a splinter in the shins. Done him in. Oh. Frank, my wife's dad from Southern Ireland, went to sea from Liverpool, obviously. Southern Ireland. The Irish. I used to lecture about the Irish, you know. From 1566 onwards. I'm the only lecturer not to use notes. Well, I was, you know. Retired now, well retired, but I used to do the Irish lecture from Sir Humphrey Gilbert when he went over to in Ireland to cause famine, which he did, scorched the land, right up to Cromwell, when he wanted to commit genocide against the Irish. That's what you call the British Empire, the good old empire that slaughtered people for their resources. And Janet says, my son been teaching in China. Oh, go away. I know a couple of people who went, you know, a couple of girls and a couple of lads. They went to China to teach. They loved it as well. I could have gone to Italy, Rome, one stage, had the job and everything, and Messina, had the job and everything. Only commitments, barriers, doors, if you know what I mean. And that's one of the biggest regrets of my life. Not going. Should have just fucking went. Like Frank, good show as always, says the Vaser. Thanks, Vaser. I'm going to finish now. 14 years I had to collect him from town after Paddy's Day session. His mate a Scouser, worse for wear, but has a stronger Irish accent after the beer. And says Phil. I remember, you know, great Paddy's nights, Paddy days, you know. And this council stopped it. St. Patrick's Day procession. See what they said, like, is a bit controversial, like. and a little bit of sectarianism. They said, it's not a procession, it's a march. That was the end. Told the police stopped it. Here in Liverpool. I've graduated 4 times in my life. And I always went into the Irish Centre. And I used to love the ceiling in the Irish Centre, because that's where I was. Just lying on my back looking at it. Plateau. My son has been teaching in China for 5 years. He loves his life. Yeah, he would love his life over there, because China is a beautiful, it's taken over economically. I was watching a program the other week, and it said America is 100 years behind with the buildings and everything. You should see the buildings. Whoa. And bridges. Unbelievable. They've got a bridge. Is it a bridge or a road? And it goes right through the desert to Mongolia. The Mongolian desert. Incredible. Would like to fucking break down like in the middle of it. Wouldn't get a fella on a motorbike, would you, coming up to there? Evening. Can I help you? What's your name? The AA. And Davey. Good evening from God's County. I used to love the spaghetti westerns. The soundtracks were awesome. Says our Newcastle mate, Davey. Yep. And Barry says, Donna, one summer was absolutely brilliant. Donna, one summer was, yeah, that was it, one summer. I thought you said Donna Summers there. I'm sorry. That's Donna Summers. What's he going on about? And Lockstock says, John McMahon, man, was better than Stevie. John McMahon, I don't know. He was, that could be obese. Says the Lockstock. Interview with a Vampire is very good, yet Cruise and Brad Pitt. Obsessed by Dalglish one summer, David. Was he in that, Lockstock? David Toulis, go away. David Toulis is a great actor. I seen him, I forget what the film was called. It was only a couple of years ago. He's in America, he's in Hollywood. And he plays at one of these fellas who go around, restaurants and hotels, tasting things. And they don't know he's one of these who just goes in and orders a meal, and they don't realise he was a critic. Brilliant. Fucking great he is. Great at playing an English fella as well. None of these stupid British fellas and girls trying to put on an American accent that doesn't work. And Lockstock says, don't get mixed up now. Don't get mixed up. Listen, I'll have to go. I'm absolutely done in. Davey said, if you get a chance to look up the Danish Symphony Orchestra doing the soundtrack for The Good, the Bad and the Ugly. No need to, got us on the thing, I'll just put the start on it. Have you ever watched the Italian film, The Bicycle Thieves? I found it too depressing. I couldn't watch it to the end. 48 Italian novelist drama films. Vittorio De Sica was a great director. Yeah, Toscana. I'll have to go after this. My auntie Leah, Rosalina, name is. We were just talking one day, and she said, "Do you know any Italian actors?" And I said, "Only a couple." She said, "Have you ever heard of an actor called Raffaellone?" I said, "Yeah, Raffaellone." I said, "Yeah." I said he was in the Italian Job with Michael Caine. Played the cop, I think, or he played a mafia fella, I think. I said, but he was in that. I said he's been in. I said I've seen him in a few films, especially war films, where he plays a priest and things. She said, "Do you know that he's a member of our family?" And I went, "No." Raffaellone. If you know him, Toscana. And Lockstock said, Nicolas Cage is a Coppola. Yeah, he is. Is he not? Is he not? Yes, he is. Hence, it's not what you know. It's who you know. No, that's why he wanted to do it on his own. That's why he changed his whole name. I'm going to finish with the Woodmaster. I have to. My daughter was given money, as was her fellow peeps, by Kim, the cleaner, to buy themselves a meal when they were in Hotel GB, Channel 4, reality TV. Kim, I don't know who Kim is. Kim the cleaner. I don't watch telly reality, so I'm lost there, Janet, about Kim. But good for Kim. I'm going to finish on this, boys and girls. I have to. I've been on since 7 o'clock, and it's 10 o'clock now, and I've had nothing to eat. If you want to join me tomorrow night, that's fine. It's an open forum tomorrow. And the master says, I used to work for the War Graves Commission all over the world. I know I said stupid things, but what you said about Kipling made me think back, seeing his quotes in all the veteran cemeteries. Yeah. Poem, shortest poem, and one of the most hard-hitting poems you're ever likely to read. If any question why we died, tell them because our fathers lied. And he did lie. And on that note, just got to say good night. Thank you for joining me. Hope you join me tomorrow night when it's an open forum. Say what you want, and I'll be read out. Hopefully. Thank you so much. I'm really knackered. Really am. To our Italian friends, girls, ciao, ci vediamo. A domani sera. Ciao, ciao bella.